Good evening and welcome to The Real Deal with John McNeal. I'm your host, John McNeal, reporting live from New York City. Tonight's show is made possible, as always, by a generous grant from the J. Jonah Jameson Foundation for the Freedom of the People, which asks you to remember that you, too, are a hero, and everyone must battle Galactus in their own way. Don't let a world with powers that dwarf your own get you down. And now on to tonight's top story. Secretary of the Treasury Hank Paulson is not who he appears to be. The former head of Goldman Sachs, who became the U.S. Treasury Secretary in 2006 and is now the person in charge of restoring economic confidence and redistributing over $700 billion in taxpayer dollars, appears not to be human at all. The Real Deal has obtained photographic proof positive that Hank Paulson is in fact a Skrull, a shape-shifting alien from the Andromeda Galaxy bent on the destabilization of Earth in an effort to pave the way for a full-blown alien invasion. America, of course, has had encounters with Skrulls before. New York City's own science heroes, the Fantastic Four, met the first group of Skrull scouts and tricked them into thinking Earth was inhabited primarily by superpowered monsters. This was before the explosion in mutant births or the formation of the Avengers, a time when Earth was completely unprepared to handle hostile extraterrestrials. By the time the Skrulls learned that they had been deceived, Earth's defenses were better established, and so the would-be conquerors had to get creative. According to official reports on the Skrulls acquired thanks to an FOIA request for Dr. Richard's statements to the OHO-TMU, the aliens from Skrullos were not always such a warlike people. The first in the universe to achieve interstellar space travel, they were originally only interested in free trade. Sound familiar? Of course, unregulated trade is never enough, and now the aliens demand complete domination of our God-given planet. It is difficult to know when the Skrulls began their plan to infiltrate Earth and replace and impersonate top Earthlings. Super genius, founding Avenger, and architect of the 50 State Initiative, Hank Pym, is believed to have been replaced by a Skrull only recently. Hank Paulson, however, has been acting Skrully for years. A 2004 article for Fortune magazine called Hank Paulson's Secret Life examines the then CEO of Goldman Sachs' unusual interest in Earth creatures. Paulson races down the road, poking at the thick underbrush. He fails to find the reptile. "I love," he says sadly, his voice trailing off. "Snakes?" I ask. "Yes," he replies matter-of-factly, "I like to hold them and look at them." This is classic extraterrestrial behavior. Aliens often have difficulty hiding their love of the little things that make our planet special. Often innocuous, a love of Reese's Pieces or milk or coffee with chocolate. But sometimes an alien's passions reveal their inhuman side, like Paulson's interest in predators. Paulson's particular favorites are birds and animals of prey. "I'm fascinated because they're at the top of the food chain. If they're healthy," he adds, "the ecosystem is healthy." When he handles creatures such as raptors, snakes, and spiders, he seems completely unfazed. Paulson's interest in healthy ecosystems runs deep, and he has often acted against business interests to preserve the environment. The obvious question is, whom is he preserving that environment for? Just as he has worked to preserve Earth's natural resources for the new management, he has used his influence as CEO of Goldman Sachs to undermine the strength and security of our nation's economy. The Skrulls' infiltration agenda is very clear. Protect the planet, weaken the people. It is difficult to guess at times who in Washington is a Skrull, and whose un-American behavior is due to something more mundane, like bribery from Latveria, brainwashing from the Red Skull, or an individual's own unique motives. But the most likely targets for the Skrull replacement program are those with a low profile but a high impact. This means the Hank Pyms, not the Tony Starks, the idea men, not the front men. Before advancing to become Secretary of the Treasury, and now the most powerful creature in America since Bruce Banner, Hank Paulson, CEO, pressured the SEC to repeal the net capital rule. A risk management office was established to monitor signs of future problems. The office was eventually dismantled by SEC Chairman Christopher Cox after discussions with Paulson. Well, other financial regulatory agencies criticized a blueprint by Mr. Paulson, the Treasury Secretary, that proposed to reduce their stature and that of the SEC. Mr. Cox did not challenge the plan, leaving it to 3 former Democratic and Republican Commission chairmen to complain that the blueprint would neuter the agency. Hopefully, Earth's heroes will be able to rout out these invaders, and agencies will be the last thing that the Skrulls are able to neuter. But our superpowered heroes can't fight it alone. They need your help. Be on the lookout. Be on guard. If you notice anyone acting Skrully, please call this number, 616-520-4909. Have a safe night, good luck, and God bless.